Hi, I'm going to be making butter a little bit differently than I normally do it. I normally just use heavy cream and churn it until the fats separate from the liquids. But in today's version, I'm using yogurt for some active cultures into the butter. You can use a mason jar, anything that'll fit. This is a quart jar, and you just shake it until it separates. You can use a hand mixer, non-powered hand mixer. It just takes a little more time than a powered mixer. You can use just a regular hand mixer for everything. That's what most people have, so that's the easiest to get a hold of. Or you can use a stand mixer. Luckily for us, we have a Daisy 30 butter churn, so we've used it for a long time, and that's what we tend to use all the time. So here we go. What you need is some yogurt, either Greek, non sweetened, regular plain yogurt, some heavy whipping cream, your churn of choice, and the salt that we use. I use a pink Himalayan salt. You can use any type of salt, or you don't even have to use salt. We like it because it's for the little preservation of the butter. Strainer and some cheesecloth. You can buy the cheesecloth at any Dollar Tree or Dollar General for about $1 for a whole roll, and something to mix it in or strain it off of and rinse it. Now here I have we poured in two quarts of heavy whipping cream and added two big dollops of just the plain yogurt. It causes it to ferment. We left it out for 12 hours. It ferments it. Just something I have read. Um, Here's our butter churn. You can find them if you still look for them. You can go to an antique store and find one. It's just as easy to do it this way. That way we have something dedicated for it. Now the fermented milk or heavy cream, I should say, um, it's thick. It was a lot thicker than what I thought it would turn into, but the active cultures in the plain yogurt really made this a thick mixture. So what it does, it ferments while it's waiting, so you'll get the bubbling. You won't get the bad bacteria. Something I read and something I saw somebody else do. Just it was kind of fascinating watching and reading about it. It's most butter that's made now, they don't ferment anything. What the good thing is you actually get a cultured buttermilk, which is a little bit better for your gut. And we're definitely going to try it with some sourdough bread, or we're going to make some pancakes. We use it for pancakes the way it is, but this is supposed to be a little bit more flavorful. And just spin it and spin it. And this was just a heavy mixture. I was quite impressed with how the yogurt started to ferment the heavy cream. I still need to find a farmer around here and get some sweet cream off of milk before it's even pasteurized or anything. I'd like to try that. Just keep spinning until you get a separation of the solids and the liquid. I'll speed it up here in a minute just so you can, see. Spinning it, and this was only probably about 45 to 50 seconds of churning at this point. It's thickened up quite a bit. It's not going to be too much longer, but I'll speed it up so you can see. It's really starting to separate now. It's been just about 2.5 minutes of this, so it really did not take long at all. Not like we normally take. So I'm not sure if it's the yogurt or if it was just really at room temperature, because this sat for 12 hours out on the counter before I poured it in. We started this at 8 o'clock last night, and at 8 o'clock this is when I was doing this. It's already starting to separate. I could have stopped here, but I wanted to just make sure that I got all of the milk fats out of the liquid. It's just a pain trying to do this and film at the same time, because it's not comfortable standing up and doing this. I'd rather have it sitting between my legs. I tried to get something to, kind of be able to push down on it and it wouldn't slide so much, but yeah, that didn't work well. I'm gonna stop here real quick. So total for this, spinning it in this churn was under 3 minutes to get all of this done. As far as the churning, and didn't me adjusting for the film and adjusting, putting stuff and just setting. So about 3 minutes. So now comes the time to strain it off. I've taken a piece of cheesecloth and I'll put it over top of the strainer just to get a little added form to it. Just something to drain the buttermilk in there. Now, this is considered cultured buttermilk because of the added yogurt, and it's fermented too. I'm just gonna pour it. I'm just gonna dump it off and get the first draining off. Of course, you never want to leave any of the butter in there. You worked hard to this point. Make sure you get all of the solids out. Heavy cream around here is it's about $5 per quart, and you normally get about a pound per quart of heavy cream. All I'm going to do, I'm just going to kind of pat it and try to get some of the buttermilk, the liquids off of the butter, because if you leave the liquids on there, it tends to make the butter go bad quicker. I'll just clean the spatula off. Yes, my fingers are clean. Now I'm just gonna kind of wrap it up in the cheesecloth so I can squeeze it a little bit and get some more of the liquid out that's suspended in between the solids. Keep squeezing it until you get most of the buttermilk, the liquids off of the solids. I want to dump this into a container that we can keep in the refrigerator. it keeps for quite a while. You just have to pay attention, make sure there's nothing growing on it if you go try to use it. We use it for pancakes and bread and all sorts of things, but because this is cultured, we don't know how it's going to change the bread and pancakes. But it'll be a good experiment. So just cap it and put it in the refrigerator. I put some water in here. I tend to use filtered water, or in our case, we use water from a spring. I refill these bottles, so we always have non-chlorinated water on hand. So I don't know if it makes a difference or not, but anytime anytime I'm cleaning or washing food that I'm going to ingest, I tend to like not have the chlorine taste on it. So all I'm doing here, I'm just rinsing it and squeezing it, trying to get as much of the liquid buttermilk out of it so it keeps longer. And I'll do this for a while. You'll notice when you squeeze it, if you get you see that colored water coming out, that's the buttermilk. And if you leave it in there, it tends to go rancid faster. So we always keep this kind of butter in the refrigerator. I'll form it up. I've already tared this, so with a sheet of wax paper with the same sheet. It's almost 2 pounds. It's 1.99 pounds of butter off of the 2 quarts of heavy whipping cream. You can skip this step if you don't want salted butter. I like salt and butter because it adds a little bit of preservative into the butter. Not a step you have to have. We always keep this butter in the refrigerator anyway, so there are no preservatives in here whatsoever. It's just heavy cream, and that's it. You're just removing the milk solids out of it to make the butter. But we like ours a little salted. You can definitely not do this step and go forward without it. Now I'm just going to form the butter up into kind of a log. I'll take 2 pieces of wax paper, the pre-cut wax paper, and just make a log. Better if you get the butter off your hands when you're trying to form this up. Get the butter off the top. I will just kind of form it up into a log. You can form it up to any way you want to. You can divide it. I don't like keeping it in a container, so I'll just keep it in the wax paper. And I'll get a bigger piece of wax paper and twist it around just for some added moisture barrier. And that's about it. Fresh butter on fresh sourdough bread. I was really surprised at how spreadable this became just by adding the yogurt. But you give it a whirl. Thanks for watching.